Calvin and Garland. The B.I.G show is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Here are your hosts, Calvin and Garland.
It's the big show, and I
Big
feel
up.
like somewhat of a small hiatus. I think we were absent last week. I
Yeah,
don't even know
yeah.
what happened.
It was spring break time and
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things. And so, that's what happened. People needed to take a little spring break refresher.
trying to get into these bum ass Orioles and what's the
Right.
hold on. What's the latest score they got going on right now? Because he's
They
sorry
up
ass.
they up 5-3. Going
Oh,
up
they're
to the bottom of the
5-3
ninth.
now. Going to okay,
Yeah.
so they're gonna lose
Bottom of
six
the ninth.
five.
Yep, and we
Anyway,
were and we prepared to talk bad about them, and they about to sweep a series.
they bought after they got swept. You shit. One good turn deserves another.
Right.
Anyway, man, we are live on YouTube right now, and if you have, we're on all the podcast platforms, and if you have Spotify, you will get to see our disgruntled faces about the Orioles. What's going on, Garland? How you doing, sir?
Bro, I'm good, man. Just really, trying to search for spring, for the spring like weather. As a matter of fact, I'm about to go hit summer weather. My anniversary is coming up, listeners. I'll be celebrating 34 years of marriage on
Nice,
Saturday,
nice.
and my wife and I are heading out the country. And the place where we're heading, I checked the weather app the other day, Calvin. It's straight 95 degrees every day. And so I'm about to hit Baltimore summer, where I'm about to go and be sweating like crazy, talking about, all right, we need to hurry up and get back home so I can get this jacket out. But yeah. So, but other than that, man, um, it's just been good. Spring break was okay last week. Happy resurrection to those who celebrate that. Even though P Hexef out here saying that the saved U.S. Army, or I forget, I don't know, it was Air Force pilot. He's comparing him to the resurrection of Jesus, and your boy Donald Trump. He making threats every other day. He a bully. That's what bullies do. They make a threat one day. Yo, I'm gonna beat you up tomorrow, and then tomorrow come like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, yo, I'm gonna beat you up next week. Next week come, all right, yo, you better watch out. I'm gonna get you on Wednesday. Wednesday come, all right, I'm gonna give you 2 more weeks before I come get you. Yo, Donald Trump, boy, that's a wilding boy. Before we get to sports, that's a wilding boy. That's the most dangerous person in the world, Calvin. I realized this. It just came to me the other day. Is a person who's willing to win at all costs is the most dangerous person you could ever deal with.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say anything, they'll do anything, they'll lie, they'll hurt people, they'll steal, they'll cheat in order to win. And that is the totality of who Donald Trump is. And that's sad, man. As a how do you put up the president as as kids to us? They used to say, oh, you can be president one day. It was the highest office in the land. It was something that had respect and integrity. Although we know presidents, some have been very corrupt, some haven't. Um, but this guy, I mean, he's cussing everybody out. He's telling other religions, uh, Allah Akbar, I'm about to blow you up.
Mm-hmm.
Allah, yo, he is, yeah. Donald Trump is something else. Anyway, like you didn't know that. What
Yeah,
about yourself, bro?
a
How was
man
your
with
week?
a man with no empathy. You can never trust a man that takes a kitty Easter
Right,
egg hunter on the lawn of the White House to
yo,
tell them to come sign his autograph and start spewing his rhetoric. Racism.
Calvin, he's standing right there next to the bunny talking about, yo, we about to wipe
Yeah,
y'all off the face of the earth. Enjoy the Easter egg roll.
racism did not create Donald Trump. He already had that in him, but racism
Right.
gave him this power that he now has. And I don't care
Jeez.
what they say. President Obama, because he got elected and because he was so great, they had to do something to match him. But instead of equally matching him, he was the polar opposite. We did a
Mhm.
180 since we had
Well,
President
I'm about
Obama.
to make you upset because Obama was great to some people, but he didn't like
Well,
black men.
yeah, I know how you feel about Obama, but I also know that if we had a comparison and you had to vote for Trump or Obama, I
Oh,
already know you voting for.
Barack
And
Hussein.
I'm basically comparing the two. I'm not
Okay,
comparing
all right,
Obama
all
to
right,
what you
cool,
would want
cool,
or expect. I'm
cool.
comparing the two. So yeah, I
Barry
already know how
Hussein
you feel.
Obama.
Yeah,
Barry Hussein.
absolutely. But anyway, man, no, my week has been good. Actually, I'm only upset because when it was really warm, I believe it was a Sunday, I went out in the yard.
Yeah,
Me and the wife cleaned out the shed. I pulled some things out that I'm gonna give away and throw away, and I knew it was gonna
yeah.
rain the next day, so I had it sitting in the yard, just waiting for the rain to come by. It has not been that warm, and the stuff is still sitting there. I just got in
Wow.
trouble last night because the grass about to be cut, and the wife is like, "That stuff been sitting there for a week and a half. Now it's gonna make the grass brown. You gotta move it." So now I gotta get out there between
Uh,
now and next Sunday and start
get to
moving this
work.
stuff back around. Pisses me off, fucking weather. But other than
Honeydew.
that, I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's good. That's a good thing. Man, as a matter of fact, we talking about Trump. Let's talk about Trump's one of Trump's best friends. He name dropped him last week. Your boy Tiger Woods. He was caught driving dirty. Tiger Woods was arrested 2 weeks ago on suspicion of misdemeanor DUI with property damage and refusal to submit to a lawful test in Jupiter Island, Florida. Woods' Range Rover SUV rolled over after it clipped a trailer being hauled by a truck. Woods, who has pleaded not guilty to the charges, told authorities he was looking down at his cell phone and changing the radio station in his SUV, which caused him not to see a truck slowing down. Also, your boy Tiger, he did get caught with a little something something in his pockets. He had 2 oxycodone pills in his pocket when he was searched. Now, Tiger announced that he's stepping away for a period of time to seek treatment and to focus on his health. And so, Calvin, Tiger has a problem, and it's not just driving. Um, and it's so pro that we talk about this because the Masters is starting this week, and you know, I'm the golfer, so I'll go ahead and start off with your boy Tiger. Now, there was an excellent story written by one of my favorite writers. His name is Wright Thompson. He writes for ESPN. He's written a couple books as well. Check him out. He wrote a story about 10 years ago about Tigers called The Secret History of Tiger Woods. And in this story, he talks about how Tiger, when his dad died in 2009, his life just spiraled out of control. And he really just was just lost. As most people know, his dad was his best friend. Tiger Woods was basically an only child, although his father, Ed Wood, had other children, older children from other marriage. Tiger was his last child in his last marriage. And so he was just looking for someone to guide him, something to do, something to find purpose. And so he had gotten into this military training. He was training with special forces units and everything. This is Tiger because his father was a former Green Beret. And so
Mhm.
hearing these stories about the Green Berets, kind of always intrigued Tiger. And so Tiger was working out with these special forces guys, very rigorous training. And his manager, his caddy, his swing coach, all these guys are trying to get him to stop. Like, Tiger, you're going to tear up your body. This is not good for you. This is not good for you. But Tiger still was doing it anyway. And he eventually tore his ACL. He was working out with some guy on the eastern shore of Maryland who had taught the one-on-one combat to the special forces guys. And Tiger was considering for a while retiring from golf and joining the military to become a special units soldier. And so a lot of people are tracing the start of his injuries to him doing this special forces training and trying to become a special forces soldier. But, then all the other stuff started to happen in terms of, his marriage, the breaking up and the eventual divorce of his marriage was all public. That led to his first car accident. And then he had his first DUI shortly after that. And then after winning the Masters in 2019, 2 years later, he has that accident that basically almost takes his right leg. Um, they do, there's a thought that out there that maybe that might have been also drug involved as well, because the man, he's had so many surgeries over the years because of his injuries. He's probably heavily on painkillers. And then, we had what happened a couple of weeks ago. I remember I was watching, I just had to be flipping channels a couple of weeks ago, and came across the simulator golf thing that ESPN does. I think it's called TGL or TCL, and they have these golfers, they're playing at this tricked out simulator place, and they're getting some big money for this. And so Tiger has a team in this tournament, in this league. And so they kind of show the guys walking up to the building, WWE style. They're coming from their cars. And I'm looking at Tiger walk up, boy, he's limping. He limping hard. It looked like he a man that's 50, that's, in pain. And, Tiger had to, really deal with his own demons. But I think that the PGA and television didn't really help him out. I'm sure people, probably his friends, could see that maybe Tiger did have a bigger issue and he's not well. And it's unfortunate that he had to get to this point to get well, but it's crazy, Calvin. Tiger is still the draw in golf. Tiger ain't won a tournament since 2019. But if you notice, in the run up to this week with the Masters, before he got arrested for the DUI, where were people asking him, the media, Tiger, you gonna play Augusta? Tiger ain't gonna win nothing else. After that accident in 2021, I basically said to a lot of my golf friends, Tiger done. There's no way that he's going to be able to do the things that he did before with this leg. But people are still trying to, hey, Tiger, the possibility of Tiger being there. If Tiger is at Augusta this week, that's all they're talking about. Although you got all these other great golfers out there. Tiger is still the draw. Tiger is still the standard. And so I hope that, he gets well. I hope that he's able to not only heal from the addiction, because I think it's obvious it's addiction, but the demons that he's dealing with in terms of, relationship with father, perception in the media, all of these different things that were built up that basically started to be exposed and destroyed over the last decade or so. What is your thoughts when you heard about Tiger and this whole thing?
Yeah, just like I feel about Karl Malone, um, Donald Trump. Um, it's forever fuck Tiger Woods. I don't give a fucking damn. Once Tiger dismissed us, I pretty much dismissed him. You gave up on him in 21. I gave up on him
Yeah.
when he got caught cheating, basically, because that's when everything started going downhill for him. Now, there's always that lore because now he's one of them, so they're always going to come see him, and he's a legend. Let's not act like he's not a legendary golfer. Let's not act like he's not the biggest thing golf has ever seen. He's eclipsed Jack Nicholson, Ben Hogan. He's eclipsed Jack Nicklaus, rather. I said Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicklaus, Ben Hogan.
Right.
He's eclipsed all of them when he was in his heyday, and he was in the battles against Phil Mickelson. He
Right.
dominated him. So Tiger's a legend. But Tiger had some demons that finally came out. And what you do in the dark definitely comes to light. And the energy that you put out in this world is always going to come back to you. I heard not too long ago that one of the things that we notice with Tiger is that when a lot of these golfers, they'll have some buddies on tour, they'll have some friends on tour. But if you notice, Tiger doesn't really have friends
No.
on tour. You never really see him hanging out with people. And there's a rumor that Tiger may have been sleeping with some of his friends' wives or his past friends' wives. That's why you don't see people close to Tiger. And I can kind of believe that Tiger gives off that energy that he is the one. And he kind of gives that Simon Cowell energy that I'm the one. And if there's something that's going to happen, I'm going to
Oh,
make it
hold on,
happen.
hold on. Are you saying Tiger is Shadow Henderson from Mo Better Blues?
I think he's worse because I think Shadow was actually in love with the with
Right. He
Bleak's
was love. He
girl.
was love.
Yeah,
Yeah, with
Shadow
Bleach
was
girl.
actually in love with Bleak's girl, and they proved to have withstood the test of time when Bleak came
Hmm.
back. But no, man, and all of this is opinion. You know, it's nothing.
Right.
The only thing that I know for a fact is that Tiger is done. He's not going to break the record that we thought he was going to break. He is still a draw because he is a living legend. That is Tiger Woods. But other than that, he literally means nothing to us. He means a lot to the golf community, but means nothing to the black community. And I personally hold that to a high standard. When you are a black man that has had influence on black people, he did bring a lot of black people to golf.
He
He has
brought
had that influence.
all black
So
people to the course.
yeah, so I can't deny that. But when you basically deny your race and deny who you are outside of your political leanings, when you publicly deny who you are, I have a problem with that. And ever since then, it's always been fuck Tiger Woods for me.
Wow. It's crazy. Calvin's patron saint of dark skinned men from Mo Better Blues. My man Wesley Snipes. Tiger, although he's Cablinasian, he got a little shadow in him. But I will say, and I agree with you, Calvin. I think that we'll never see another golfer as dominant as Tiger. I
Absolutely.
mean, the run that he made, the way that he changed the game, and the way that they actually changed courses, thinking that they could alter the way that he played, but his game adapted more.
Hmm.
And he brought a lot of just the common man to the golf course. Nobody was really watching golf like that until Tiger Woods. Yeah, maybe in the heyday of Nicklaus or the heyday of Arnold Palmer, but no one was watching golf. And Golf Channel, all this extensive coverage, you can thank Tiger Woods for that.
Hmm.
And so I wish him the best in his recovery. Hope things go well for him, and we see what happens with Tiger. All right, man. Your boy Geno Ariema is a dick. In the waning seconds of UConn's 62-48 loss to South Carolina in the women's NCAA semifinal, Ariema approached Don Staley, the head coach of the Gamecocks, Lady Gamecocks, for a post-game handshake, then angrily got in her face after Staley started firing back. In his post-game news conference, Ariema said he was frustrated that he waited 3 minutes for a pre-game handshake with Staley and said he did not regret his comments he made to ESPN during a sideline interview. Ariema apologized to the South Carolina team and staff on Saturday, and today he released a statement as well, apologizing to Staley for his emotional outburst. And so, is it always Ariema on this, or what's your thoughts?
Oh yeah, it's been F Geno. It's been a fuck Geno. I've never liked Geno, but I've always liked the UConn players. The one thing that I cannot deny, just like with Tiger Woods, is that Geno took the best players and made them better. A lot of people thought that UConn was bad for the game at one point because they kept winning. Their only rival was Tennessee, and then Notre Dame became a
Mm-hmm.
rival, and then that's when
Stanford
LSU started
for a
becoming
minute.
a rival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they were dominant. A lot of people thought it was bad for the game. They were going undefeated. They had the Rebecca Lobos, the Maya Moores. They had
Mm-hmm.
all of the stars. But I've always thought you can have them all. But until you teach them how to
Correct.
play, till you teach them the game, that means nothing. And he taught them the game, and they were dominant. And I never denied that. But there's always been that little something that rubbed us wrong about Gino. When he was winning, it was all good. Pat Summit tried to tell us when he was winning. She was more on the he cheated to get Maya Moore on the team, but she tried to tell us there was something about that guy. Nobody really listened because, again, he was winning. It was all good. But as soon as you started seeing that chink in the armor, soon as these other teams started beating him, he got a little pissy, got a little childish. Even last year when he won it all, I mean, they beat up on South Carolina. The guy, you ain't hear nothing from him. But as soon as he went down, it's I got a girl ripping a jersey. The girl ripped her own damn jersey. Oh,
Right.
there were 6 fouls called, and none of them were against them. They were all against us. then stop fouling people. I mean, some things can two things can be true. And there can be a bias against your team, but there can also be some whining about your team because when you were winning and everybody had to eat that, nobody said anything about you. Now you're not winning as much. You're down in the pack. So fuck Geno. You're not gonna mess with Don because that's your problem. You mess with a black woman. And sir, in college basketball, you ain't living that one down. I don't care how many apologies you come out with. He's lucky that Dawn came out. Dawn shaded him in the championship win because the championship loss rather because she said she doesn't mind losing to a coach and a team with some integrity and some class, something like that. She said,
Yeah.
but then she came out recently. I think it was yesterday actually, and said her and Gino talked about it. Let it go. Basically telling us to let it go. Which for Gino, for Dom rather, we will let it go. But we ain't never gonna forget this one, Gino. I don't care what you came out and said today. I don't even want to hear it. I'm done with you.
You know, this is a guy that has taken his team to, I think they said the other day, 34 straight Sweet 16s. And so, they've won a boatload of titles. Um, so, yeah, I agree with you. Great coach. But to me, this whole incident was a deflection to take the heat off of his team for underperforming in that game. Here they come in, undefeated, player of the year on that team. People had already, I want to say, penciled them, and they had them in Sharpie marker into the final. Okay, that was already a given thought that they were going to the finals. And when they got out there and they just basically melted that defense from South Carolina, the timely baskets, they shut down the play of the year. I think in maybe a maneuver to take the heat off of his team, he acts out. Who cares about a pregame handshake? And if you were that upset about the handshake, why did you go over there after the game, post game, to shake her hand? If you're so upset that she didn't shake your hand in the pregame, why are you the first across the court to shake her hand after the game?
But he shook her hand in the pregame. I don't know
Yeah,
if he
as
has
they
dementia or
came
something.
through a line, but what he
Yeah.
said was traditionally after the players are introduced, the coaches meet at half court and they shake again. So they must have greeted each other coming out. They showed that yes, they shook hands because that's what Staley said. We shook hands, but he said, well, there's also another handshake that happens before the game started. I'm standing there waiting for her. She never came over. But for me, if you're so upset about it, why are you over there shaking hands post game? So for me, maybe it's a little showmanship. You got your team, and this has happened to him 4 times. He's brought undefeated teams into the Final Four and has lost. And so this is a undefeated team. They come in, they're expected to win, and they don't produce. And so he takes the heat. He puts all the deflection on him. Nobody remembers the game anymore. Nobody talks about the bad performances. All they talk about is Geno's behavior. And guess what? He's going to last through it because there's no way UConn is going to let him go. There's no way he's going to be fired, any of those things. And so he can take that heat. And so to me, it was a heat deflection. He's just taking the heat off of his girls. But
So, so what
go
you're
ahead.
saying is Gino's a stand-up guy. You're saying Gino's not a
I'm
dick.
saying in a roundabout way, he stand up for his team, but what he did was dickish. Both things can be true. He could be a dick, but he also could be a stand-up guy, pause, in some situations because he did, I think he was deflecting for his players. Have we heard from any of the players since this happened? Have we heard any questions about, hey, what happened? You came into the game hot. None of that. All the talk has been from on the UConn side is about Geno's behavior. That's it. And so to me, it was successful. Nobody's going out and asking AZ Flood what happened in the game. They're all asking Geno why you act like a dick out there.
Yeah, nah. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but fuck
I mean,
Gino.
that's my conspiracy theory. I
I ain't
mean,
giving Gino no credit for none of that shit. That's letting him off the hook. Fuck him.
no,
Fuck
I'm
him.
not giving him credit. I mean, do I think it was calculated? Yeah. I mean, I think it was terrible. I think it deflected from the game. It definitely deflected from South Carolina's victory, that's a major victory to me because I felt South Carolina really did not have the scoring power to stay with UConn. That was the biggest thing, and it showed in the final against
I was about to say
UCLA.
we found that out with
We found
UCLA.
that out against UCLA. I did not. They were not a team that could go bucket for bucket with a team that could score, and so what they did was outstanding. But nobody's talking about that. We're all talking about, Geno being a dick. All right,
Mm.
well, let's keep on going. Hey,
Talk
man,
to
the
me.
machines are taking over. ABS is making a big impact on Major League Baseball. Just days into the league's 2026 regular season, ABS, that's the automatic ball system that calls balls and strikes on appeal, has become
Pause.
a pause has become a
Automatic ball
widespread
system.
hit. All right, man. In a sample of 35 games at the beginning of the season that's played since the start of the season, there were 124 total challenges. 67 of them, or at least 54%, thank you, Jay, for the numbers, resulted in overturned calls. Pitchers and catchers so far have combined to have both the greater number of challenges and a better success rate than the hitters. But those figures are expected to vary considerably on a day-to-day basis. We've been to a couple of baseball games. It's pretty exciting when it happens. All the crowd gets involved in it, man. What you think about the ABS so far?
Hey man, I enjoy it. You're right. That's the crowd is into it. It's something that's quick. It doesn't extend the game
Right.
too much longer. You it's a couple seconds. By the time he announces it, it's already up on the board. Hey man, I think it's great. I think this is something that baseball needed to bring the fans back into it. So when you're at the ballpark, you get to see it. It's exciting. Now we don't know how long that excitement is going to last. Everything runs its course. But it's great, man. The next thing they should do is just take the balls and strikes away from the umpires, period, because you just want the game to be correct. You want the calls to be correct. I know you got your traditional list, this and that, but then you got this guy like CB, what's his name? CB Buckner,
CB
whatever his name
Buckner.
is.
Oh my God. Yeah, CB
Yeah,
Buckner.
I mean, he can't even see the guy touching putting his foot in the middle of the base. You know what I mean? You got to run a replay just for that, and you expect this guy to be able to call correct balls and strikes, which we've seen he ain't even been able to do that. I think he's the one that has the worst percentage right now in
Yes.
challenges against the what players challenging his balls and strikes call. But yeah, man, I love it. Let's keep it up. Let's try to figure out a way to put it in all of the replay systems and maybe try to figure out a way to put it in football because Isaiah Likely's touchdown would have been a goddamn touchdown. And don't even get me started on these Pittsburgh
Don't
games.
go backwards. Go forwards. But yeah, I like it. It's quick. Everybody gets involved. Hey, you thought he was out? Come on back to the plate, baby. And so I
Mm-hmm.
do love. I think there are two great innovations that have happened in baseball in the last 3 years: pitch clock, ABS. Great, fantastic, Major League. You finally have moved into the new millennium.
Mm-hmm.
Pitch clock definitely has shortened the game. You stay more engaged. It's great to go because you ain't gonna be there for hours. And this ABS definitely, oh man, that looked like a ball, and it turns out that it was, or that looked like a strike, and it turned out that it was. And so I think I'm thankful for that. As a former umpire, I still think a human element should be involved in the game. I think that's important for the game. We turn it over to the machines. We already turned everything over to the machines. I'm telling you, it's going to be like the Terminator. Before we know it, the sky going to be blackened, and we all going to be living underground with John Connor.
You
But
do have to
I think
have
we
the
still need the human element to the game.
yeah, you still got to have it because another exciting part of the game is always arguing with the umpires. The fans always love the arguments with the umpires, so you still have to have that. The balls and strikes are just it makes it exciting, and just we just love the shit. I mean,
Yeah.
then it also goes to show you how baseball, they always talk about sports being a game of inches. They talk about it with football and the yardage, but baseball is literally a game of inches. I mean, some of those
Yeah.
calls are 2 and 3 inches off the plate, but some of them
Yes.
are so close
Close.
to a ball and a strike. You're just like, God, it just shows you how great these pitches are, how that ball can move. Some of them can move it wherever they want to. This it's just it's
And
really
you know,
exciting.
I've noticed some games the umpire has been right on it. It has been a
Hmm.
strike. It has been a ball. I think the CB Buckners of the world. This is going to move the CB Buckners out of the game,
Hmm.
and we're going to get more accurate umpiring. And so I think also in the human aspect, it's going to make better umpires as well.
Yeah, you absolutely can't have a guy like CB Buckner remain after this season. I mean, if his percentage stays the way it is, I mean, it's just bad. You know what I mean? And then you add other things on top of that, and he's a human being. You don't want to really chastise a guy. Some people are just mean, but sometimes something has just either passed you by or it's just not for you. And he's not having a great start to the season, and career wise he's one of the worst umpires that we have out there right now.
Definitely, definitely. Man, the O's are it's funny. They won today, and so
They
that
won.
makes it sweet of the Chicago White Sox. But they were off to a rough start, excuse me. After opening the season with a series win over the Twins, the Orioles, they struggled a little bit. They lost five of the next six after also being swept by the Pirates over the past weekend. But hey, they go to Chicago. They redeem themselves. Chicago's not a very good team, so let's not get too hyped. But they sweep the White Sox. A game, a win is a win is a win. Is it too early? Right now, they're in second place in the American League East. I think they were tied with Tampa Bay. They under the Red Sox. Season's very early. Is it too early to be worried, or should fans expect another playoff less season?
So they got to be at least third, because aren't the Yankees something like 8-2 or something like
Yeah,
that? They
the
got
Yankees, the Orioles, and the Rays were tied in terms of wins and losses the last time I checked, and so they were
okay.
both were tied. They're second in Orioles are 5-6 right now. They're second in the
They
AL
should
East.
they should be 6-6.
Well, now
They
they're six,
Yeah, yeah.
but
So anyway,
I'm
anyway,
looking. Yeah,
either way, they it
yeah, they're 6-6. They're in second place in the AL East.
we're so used to the Orioles not having a fast start and not catching up. The one year that they did win the AL East, remember they were down like 15 games to Tampa Bay and they walked them down. And that was an outlier year. We you can't expect that to happen every year. And we saw last year it did not happen. And even the year before that it didn't happen. So yeah, it's hard to say that it's time to be worried, but with the way that they play and the way that the pitching is looking and the hitting is being real anemic right now, it might be. We expected a lot more in this offseason. We didn't quite get the pitching that we thought we would get. Pete Alonso was supposed to be the big time hitter. He hasn't started off too well. Rushman is actually doing well. Gunner seems to be coming on. But you still got Jackson Holiday on the injured list. You still have Jordan Westberg on the injured list. One of your pitchers just went on the injured list, and it's just, I don't know, man. You starting to get the feeling that this might be the same old type of year
Yeah,
when you were looking
Eflin
for
just went
better.
to the 60-day DL. Um, a word about Alonzo. Right now, he's only hitting 188. He's only had one home run, have driven in three
Hmm.
runs, batted in, and only has two other extra base hits, two doubles. Yes, we were expecting something big out of him. He struggled mightily. Taylor Ward has actually turned out to be pretty good for them at the top of the order.
Yep.
He's hitting 383 right now. He's one of your big producers. His OPS is over 1,000. Gunner is basically carrying the team in terms of power numbers. 4 home runs leads the team. He has 9 RBIs, which leads the team as well. Tyler Ward leads the team in on base percentage and hits. He has 14 hits so far. Blaze Alexander's played very well for them.
Very well.
He was supposed to be a utility guy, but with the injury to Jackson Holiday, he's had to play more. I think they should go ahead and just put him at at third base right now because you're not getting anything out the bat of Kobe Mayo, and then sometimes you don't know what you're going to get out of his glove. I don't know why Colton Cowser is still playing every day. He did not start today. He did not play today in center. Um, but outside of his defense that he gives you, and the defense is okay, he's not giving you anything at the plate. I know Basayo is young. This is really his first full major league system, but he's still swinging at everything that's close to the plate and not making a lot of contact. Adley has been playing well, and then some games,
At least
he's
okay.
yeah,
He's
yeah. And so it's early. Yes, I would like to see Westberg back and stay healthy. I want to see Jackson back and playing healthy. I want to see that. To me, I'm concerned about the pitching. Bassett, we went to our first of our game tickets, we went and Bassett started that game, and they were just hitting him all over the park.
mm-hmm.
His next start, I believe it was in Pittsburgh. They did the same thing, or it might have been the first Chicago game. They did the same thing. He's struggling mightily. He does not necessarily look good right now. Maybe it's because it's the start of the season. Some of these games are cold. Maybe in the summer he'll get to warm up and he'll start looking better. I think Trevor Rogers is he's turned out to be an ace, Calvin. I mean, a couple years ago, we were ready to run him out of town. I mean, he has a 1.89 ERA. He has the most wins on the team. He's doing an outstanding job. I think Bradish, he's just had a little hard luck. He's been knocked around a little bit, but he's leading the team in strikeouts with 17. Ryan Hemsley has been a great pickup in terms of saves. I think that's been going well. And Tyler Well has done well out the bullpen. I think he's found his spot in terms of helping to hold leads and everything. But I'm concerned about Eflin and that they've had these other injuries. I'm not too sure about the other relievers. I think the second game in Pittsburgh, they couldn't hold the lead. The pitcher, he walked a couple people, then he made an error. They wasn't able to close it out. Beavers in the outfield. I know you need his bat, but he's not the greatest outfielder either. And so I know y'all got on me. You and Jay got on me because I said this was probably a 80 plus team, a win team. I didn't think they were going to win to get to the playoffs. I thought the division's still too tough. I still think the division's very tough. Boston's been struggling a little bit. And so we'll see what happens in terms of those teams. But, it's early. It's early, and so I'm willing to give them a pass. Toronto, they struggled a little bit too, but they started off kind of slow as well.
Yeah, but every year we just say it's early. It's just getting old. Let's say it's early is getting old. It's old. They got
Okay,
to come
I
out. They got
mean,
to come out strong.
yeah.
The Yankees came out strong. If you want to win this division, you got to come out strong like the Yankees. And it
To
just
me, I would say I want to see how they look in May. If we're coming towards Memorial Day and there's still this up and down and there's still this 500 play, to me, that's a better indicator than what I can get out of April. Also, as I'm looking, Davy Lopes dies today, age 80.
oh
Yeah, major second baseman of those Dodger
yeah
dynasty
yeah
teams in the 70s and 80s. He coached in Baltimore with under Davy Lopes. I mean, I said Dave. No,
under
under Davy Johnson.
under
Excuse me,
Dave Johnson.
under
Yeah,
Davy Johnson. Yeah, and so yeah, he dies at the age of 80.
I had his baseball card when I was collecting baseball
Oh
cards.
wow, yeah,
When
yeah,
the
yeah,
Dodgers
yeah.
was my favorite National League team. Actually, they're still my favorite National League team. Honestly,
Number 15, he had that speed. I mean, they had a great infield. You had Say at third, Russell at
Ron
shortstop, Lopes at
Say,
second, and the first baseman, six. Well, I
Steve.
want to forget his name.
They
Steve
had
Garvey.
Steve Garvey. Steve
Steve
Garvey.
Garvey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those were good teams. All right. Your boy, let's talk a little Lakers, feed into Calvin's favorite team. And so your boy Luka and AR-15 are out. Luka Doncic will miss the remainder of the regular season and possibly the start of the playoffs after suffering a grade 2 hamstring strain last week and a loss to the OKC Thunder. In addition, guard Austin Reeves is out with a grade 2 left oblique muscle injury and will miss the remainder of the regular season as well. Though grade 2 hamstring strains typically involve a month-long recovery process, you think the Lakers are done? I mean, they still got the greatest player of this generation, your boy LeBron James. What do you think their chances are looking like, Calvin?
Yeah, so 2027 is our year. That's the year for the Lakers. 2027.
You done gave up on 2026?
Yeah, man. LeBron ain't carrying nobody. He ain't carrying nobody. It just, if
That's a
if he
shame.
does, if he does, it's going to be something that they're going to have to make a documentary on. But LeBron ain't carrying nobody. Those days are over. Those
It's,
days are long gone.
it's done. They asked LeBron, like, yeah, LeBron, he's like, I don't know what they want me to do. I mean, I can try. As an old man, I was like, dang, LeBron normally, he jump up in there talking about
Nah,
this my team and
it's
whatnot. He
over,
said,
man.
I can try to do the best I can, but
Yeah,
you
he
know,
know it's
thank
over.
God they ain't asked Bronny.
It's over, man. It is over for
Yeah,
my Lakers.
it's going to be a tough West. I mean, OKC, they beat them last night, blew them out, but
Yeah,
LeBron did not play. OKC is it. I don't think anybody's getting past OKC. I think San Antonio, this is going to be really their first high seed. Um, they're going to be playoff. They're not playoff testers, but they're going to learn in this playoff run. See what happens with Big Wimby. Of course, you still got Denver there, and I'm trying to think the other team that's over top of them. I mean, I think you got a couple good teams that are still
yeah.
in the mix. You got
Houston's
the
still good. Yeah,
Houston still there.
Rockets.
You got
Yeah,
Timberwolves, and you got Rockets. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
man.
definitely going to be some tough sledding for them, even with Luka. I mean, now that Luka, he put on a clinic for the month of March, but now you need him for these playoff and this playoff run. We're starting another week, and we'll see what happens with them. All right, man. Let's make a little transition. We haven't really done this in a while, but we're going to talk about some people that need to be talked about. So, over the last week or so, it's been a couple black people in the news saying some really dumb stuff. And let's start with your girl Chilli. Now, TLC singer Razonda Chilli Thomas was identified in federal records as having made donations to Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, but she has publicly stated these contributions were a mistake and that she does not support him. Chile made 17 donations totaling roughly 897 to a little over $1,000 in 2024, directed to Win Red, a Republican fundraising platform, the Trump National Committee, and Never Surrender Incorporated, which was supposed to be targeted towards veterans. Now, here's Chile's response. After reports surfaced, she said, I want to be clear. I am not MAGA and do not support any of the many policies that are causing great harm to the American people. I made a mistake too many make. I did not read the fine print. Everybody's ready to cancel Chili. Everybody's ready to turn in, this. I think TLC is supposed to be going on tour with somebody.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't,
They
yeah,
got a
yeah,
big
this
tour out
yeah, they got a big tour that's about to start. People talking about they returning their tickets. Don't go. This, that, and the other. Man, what's your thoughts on Chili and this whole thing of her? Really, this $897. Maybe for Chili, it's a lot of money, and for you and me, that's a lot of money. That's not necessarily a lot of money in terms of donation. But go ahead. What do you think about Chili?
but we knew if you remember some years she had a reality show. And if you watched
Yes.
the reality show, you knew she was weird then. You knew there was something off
Right.
about her ass then. That's when she stopped being extremely attractive to me. She's always been attractive, but she's in like
Very
that
cute.
Stacey Dash category for me. Just like, yeah, I don't want to.
That's a
I
good
don't want
comparison.
yeah, because she looks good, but now I didn't place her as MAGA, but I don't put it past her. And the thing is, own it. At least Stacey Dash owned it. I mean, she's not owning it anymore, but at least she owned it. And the thing is, Chili, as soon as you came out and said that, I'm not this, I'm not that. First of all, then they caught you liking all these MAGA posts, and now you got to scrub them clean, act like you didn't do it. But the internet is forever. People got screenshots of it. Then with that whole, I didn't read the fine print. Are you kidding me? We've been telling you about Donald Trump forever. Like this ain't the first rodeo with him. It's like everything you're saying is just bad. Then you got Salt back, and we knew she was weird when they did a
Right when
reality
they
show.
did, yeah, you Salt did
Yeah,
the thing.
again,
Yeah.
another Stacey Dash type. You look good, Salt, but shut up. Well, just shut up. So it's one of them things. And although $897 is not a lot of money for her, it may be a lot for us. It's the entire principle of the whole thing. It's not how much you've donated. It's just the fact that you donated. And we just don't look too kindly on that. And you know how black women have been treated by this
Mhm.
administration, and for you to even it's just a bad look, Chili. So I mean, canceling is harsh. We always say we're going to cancel someone. There've only been a few effective cancellations because of Donald Trump. We definitely canceled Chrisette Michelle because of Donald Trump. That was she really got the brunt of it. She's probably the biggest cancellation that I can
Mhm.
remember. But I mean, life goes on. You'll have your fans that'll continue to support you, and you have those that won't support you. So
Right.
life goes on. Don't cry about it. You're going to hurt the tour. You're going to hurt the money of the tour, and that's something that maybe they should look at. I believe that tour is TLC and Vogue and Salt and Pepper.
Right.
I would look and replace you all with SWV anyway, because
Dang,
the two
dang,
of
you gonna
you.
replace it? They can't get money. She can't get no money.
Yeah, man, but the two of them, let's be honest, ever since they've gotten older without Left Eye, the two of them, the TC, they just ain't been quite the same. You know what I mean? Them
Dang,
waterfalls ain't
Boss
falling
said
that
they
much
can't get no
anymore.
money, no
I
more
like
money.
I like them, but it just,
You said don't go chasing
T
waterfalls on this one.
T Bars is a full fledged auntie now. You look at T Bars on the stage,
They're
she a
going
full
out to get the
fledged
money.
auntie.
Hey, the hey, if the Go Go's could go out and get money,
You
and these
right.
white girl
You
groups
right.
could go out and get
You
some
right.
money, let these women
You
go out
right.
and get some
They can
money.
go out and get what then let's add SWV to the tour. Let's add them to negate
What they gonna do?
what
Only one
TLC
that can
does.
sing is Coco.
Yeah, but they all still up there moving. They ain't even, if you even look at New Edition ain't even moving around anymore. New Edition just get
Well,
chairs and sit down and
Bobby ain't
sing.
moving around. Bobby
No,
ain't
it ain't
moving
none of.
around.
I saw a
And
recent
Ralph,
video.
the rest of them
Ain't
is
none of.
dancing.
Nah, man. Johnny got a gut. Johnny and Mike got a gut almost like mine now, man. I don't know what's going
If I like the girl, who cares who you like? Now, I will say this about our girl, Chilli. She got in trouble once for not reading the fine print. Let's not forget, um, I forgot that series that used to come on VH1. They used to do the backgrounds about the groups and, they'd
on.
rise and then they'd fall. Let's not
Yeah,
forget, T-
it wasn't unsung behind the music. Theirs was
yeah,
VH1
behind the
was behind the
music.
music.
Yeah, VH1 behind the music. Now let's not forget that TLC got in trouble because they didn't read their contract and they basically went multi-platinum and was broke. They couldn't afford to even get a soda from McDonald's because they didn't read the fine print. And so Chili, you should
They
have
had
already
Suzuki
had
Samurais though.
right, right. They had samurais though that they were paying back to the record company for. And so yeah, Chili, that should have been an example or a experience for you of reading the fine print, of reading the contract. But obviously, that experience didn't work for you. But I'm subscribed to what, and I ain't trying to get super deep, but I'm gonna subscribe to what Malcolm X said. I think black people, we're the only people that look up to entertainers as our political guides. We looking up to Denzel. Well, what Denzel think about Trump? What does Ryan Coogler think about Obama or Michael B. Jordan? What does Chili think about the political race? But I don't see white people asking Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise or Melanie Griffith or anybody else, any other prominent actor or actress, they're not asking Timothy Chalamet who they should vote for. Yeah, they don't care who he donates to. But we're the only ones that are hung up on our entertainers or our athletes giving us political guidance. And I think if we looked at the background of a lot of these people, we probably would be shocked that, their political leanings, their religious leanings, just their social leanings. I mean, I love Chuck D, but if he don't believe in the virgin birth, me and Chuck D might have a problem, religiously. And so, yeah, I just subscribe to them for what I like them for, the entertainment. I'm not a TLC fan. I enjoyed some of their music when they came out. It was great. I enjoyed some of the videos. It was not for me. They had a demographic. But Chilli, yeah, you got to read the fine print, sweetie. You just can't put money out there and not know where your money is going. Just like it's funny how black people, we like to investigate the church. Like, I want to know what the pastor doing with my money. But when we give it to these political things, well, hey, they needed it. Well, do you know where it's supposed to go? How it's being used? And well, no, they just. And so I think this Chilli, I'm willing to give you a pass on this because I don't think we should be subscribing to what these people do. If that's what you want to do, and Chilli, even if you knew where your money was going to, uh, that's your prerogative. No, I don't love it. I can't control where you put your money, but it's your money. And I'm not going out to buy a TLC ticket anyway. Now, if people decide that they rather, hey, well, if she supports that, I'm going to support it by not buying it, then that's your choice as well. And so I don't want to counsel you, but I want us to kind of do our own research and make our decision for ourselves what we're going to do politically and not get hung up on when we find out that people have political views that are divergent from ours. Okay. It's all good. But that leads, go ahead. What are you going to say, bro?
I was going to say that was all good when we were talking about George and George Jr. Bush. We talking about Donald Trump. You support him.
It don't make it.
Does.
George, all of them. All of them. All of them.
Yeah,
All of them. Okay. All of them. I feel this. I mean,
the devil
trust me,
wears
probably
masks.
your favorite actor, your favorite singer, your
Absolutely.
favorite athlete has probably donated to George
Listen,
that thought George Bush was a good president.
but LeBron James, I truly believe, is in the minority of
Mm-hmm.
millionaire athletes that do not support or did not support Donald Trump. I truly believe he's in the minority. So
I
I
mean, let's not
completely
forget your
agree.
boy. You got some Air Force Ones. You got some Jordans. Let's not forget Michael Jordan was very apolitical up until Obama. They asked him to support a black man who was running against Strom Thurmond, one of the most racist elected officials ever in this country. And Mike said, "Well, white people buy Jordans too,
You know
but
he
they
never
ain't stop us from going out there and getting them
he,
Jordans."
he never said that.
Yes, he did. Go Google it. Google it while we talk. He said white people buy Nikes too. He said it. Like he said, F them kids. He said white people
He
buy
never
Jordan.
said F them kids.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
Man, let's
did.
move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
He said, F them kids.
Oh gosh.
Yes, he did. You know that's true. They wouldn't be on the internet if it wasn't true. Yeah, it was 1990. His refusal to endorse Harvey Gantt, and he said Republicans. Excuse me. Let me be correct. Republicans buy sneakers too. That's the exact words that he said. All right,
That's far
let's move
different
on.
from white people.
Well, who else is Republican?
We
That
just
leads us
named a
right.
couple. We just named
Let,
a
let,
couple.
Let's go ahead and go right into what we talk about. This is a perfect segue. On the latest episode of his show, Nick Cannon's Big Drive, I didn't know he had a show, released on March the
Gracious.
27th. Cannon spoke with model Amber Rose, who is also a staunch supporter of Donald Trump, and made the following statement. People don't know that the Democrats are the party of the KKK. People don't know that Republicans are the party that freed the slaves. He added, I rock with W.E.B. Du Bois when he said there's no such thing as two parties. It's just one evil party with two different names. When the conversation turned to Donald Trump, Cannon said, we got the Gulf of America now. Trump, he's like the club. He's charging a $5 million bottle service fee to get into the country. I F with Trump. All right. I'm going to go first on your boy here. Now, first of all, I didn't know the boy had a show. And I guess he needed some foot traffic to the show. And so it's a YouTube show. So here you go. But I will say this about Nick Cannon's statement. It's filled with so many inaccuracies and wrong opinions. And this is a man that quit entertainment for a minute to go to Howard University to study history. That's what shocked me too. But the Democratic Party, which has its start in the South, was not the creation of the KKK. Although you did have KKK members in it. As a matter of fact, you had many members of both parties in the 1860s all the way up to the 1900s that were members of the KKK. Okay, so you had the first wave that was founded around the Civil War, after the Civil War and Reconstruction, to scare Black people from seeking full rights. A lot of those people were a part of the Democratic Party. It was not founded by the Democratic Party. But as you got into the 1900s, you had both Democrats and Republicans who were members of the KKK. Now, yes, if you don't know that it was the party of Lincoln that freed the slaves, the Republican Party of Lincoln, then you probably went to a very poor school. You did not learn any history. In basic history, you should know that it was the party of Abraham Lincoln, the administration of Abraham Lincoln, that freed slaves. But they did not free them to give them freedom. It was a concern about the power of slave states over free states. Slave states were growing. They wanted to claim more slave states as the country began to expand. And so Lincoln freeing the slaves was for strategic purposes of the Civil War. He never had an intention of giving freed uh, entrapped slaves or enslaved Africans freedom. He wanted to send them back to Africa. He wanted to repatriate them. And so the Republican Party, yes, they did it as a tactic, but their role was not necessarily to free slaves. It was for political maneuvering. That's why they freed the slaves. And they only freed slaves that were in Confederate territories. So Nick, if you go and get people right, get them right on that. Around it was the 1960s where we start to see Black people switching over to the Democratic Party. Black people mostly voted Republican because of Lincoln, all the way up through the 1950s. But as we get into the 60s, we get the Civil Rights Act, we get Lyndon Baines Johnson. The Democratic Party begins to pass civil rights legislation to provide rights to Black people. As a response, Black people start supporting the Democratic Party. And what did white Democrats do that did not support the civil rights legislation? They left and went to the They left and went to the Republican Party. They were Democrats. They left and went to the Republican Party. And so we start to see this change philosophically in the 60s of Republicans not only becoming more conservative, but also having more hostility towards civil rights. Okay, so this is where we see this. And I think, again, listening to actors, people who don't know, who just have these twisted opinions. I mean, to me, Nick Cannon is a nobody. Um, unless you love Drumline and that show he does on MTV, I don't even think people watch MTV anymore. Or the show he did with Kevin Hart on BET. I, what's the relevance of a Nick Cannon and his opinion about that? But I'm not shocked because, again, Calvin, there are a lot of people who believe what Nick Cannon believes as well. And we, we think we're just a monolith of people, that we all have the same viewpoint. And I think there are a lot of people, you'll be surprised, that think like Nick Cannon thinks. What's your thoughts?
So when Black people and other conservative followers hit you with that, well, you know, it was the Republican Party that freed the slave. They swear they're getting you with a gotcha moment. And it burns me up so bad. If you studied your history, you know that it was the Republican that freed the slaves, and it was the Democrats that believed in slavery. So ha ha ha, take that. You just sit back and you're just like you're just stupid. First of all, Nick Cannon hosts Wildin' Out, and he hosts America Got Talent.
Yes.
He ain't got no smarts, and he wilding out, and he got 100 babies. He's a good father though, from my understanding. He's a good father from everything I read, but he's got 100 babies with 99 different women. I mean, Amber Rose, is she black? Is she white? What do we even know? Because we know she's
Yeah.
white, but she thinks she's black. She
We know
she
she crew
portrays that she's
skins.
black. I
We
just
know she crew skins though.
what's I'm scared to ask what's cruise
You know what crew, just like it sounds. She crew skins. She been passed around the industry through by the crew. We know she crew skins. So go ahead.
I just I don't even I don't even want to give this any energy because it's so ridiculous to think that you have this all of a sudden revelation gotcha moment that anybody, my 4-year-old grandson, can Google and read it and understand what the difference was.
Right.
Just stop it. Anyone that comes down with that, stop it, please stop it. And then they act like it happened yesterday. Well, yesterday the Democrats just started believing in civil rights. Like,
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. Calvin, that and it just shows me that most people don't really have a full understanding of the
they don't.
history,
They
don't
don't.
have a full understanding of what happened with the freeing of slaves, and that whole thing. They don't have an understanding of what really took place with that. You know, I encourage people go down to the Lincoln Memorial. In the Lincoln Memorial, you'll see pieces of Lincoln's address at Gettysburg, and in up on the wall, he basically states that he they did not do this for those people, for slaves, enslaved Africans. He did it to save the country. He didn't have any concern about enslaved Africans. His concern was about protecting the Union. That's all. And they were concerned about the southern slave states, which had more economic power than the northern free states, um, basically taking over legislature. That's what it was about. It had nothing to give people freedom. They were not concerned about freedoms. They were concerned about political power. All right, let's go to your last boy. Usher Raymond, better known as Mr. Cherries in Your Woman's Mouth, weighed in on Sean Diddy Combs' image and influence in an interview with Forbes magazine, claiming the hip hop mogul has been misrepresented following the numerous sexual abuse allegations against him, instead focusing on his impact as an entrepreneur. Quote, I don't have anything negative to say about Sean Combs because my experience was not what the world has seen and how he's been misrepresented, said Usher in the interview. I'm not saying that every man is perfect. I'm not saying all of us don't have flaws, Usher said, but I can't, with any sense of humanity, not recognize the valuable contributions this man made for us as Black entrepreneurs, for us as businessmen, for us as people who transition culture and ideas into something that's tangible and becomes business. So many people benefited from what he created, and I acknowledge that. Okay. Uh, so because this man created the remix and made the remix popular, and he was the man that produced your first album, that basically introduced you into the music industry, he's being misrepresented. A man who was a crooked businessman. Go ask his artists. They still fighting for royalties today. Ask the Locks. Ask my man Mace. As Biggie mother even had to fight for money after Biggie died to get the royalties. Ask any of the artists that are, ask Day 26, ask Aubrey Day of this man who, as an entrepreneur, did the right things. Anybody that's ever said, ask the guy that was in the documentary that allegedly he drugged and raped, that produced some of these songs on Diddy's last album. He's fighting to get his royalties. These valuable contributions you talking about, Usher? Is that what you're talking about? A guy who cheated people out of their money? A guy who basically took all these things and made himself famous? And he was an abuser on top of that? Okay. Okay, I guess we should. We probably should nominate Diddy for an Image Award, NCAA Image Award. Man, what's your thoughts about Mr. Cherries in Your Woman's Mouth?
I, two things can be true.
Okay.
So number one, I think that his use of the term being misrepresented is incorrect. He has not been misrepresented.
No, he's been
Um,
represented correctly.
yeah, he's been represented just absolutely almost to perfection. However, there was a time in Usher's life where Diddy definitely did a lot for him, and
Oh yeah, that
the
first album is
loyalty,
all Diddy.
yeah, the loyalty that he's showing to the guy that basically put him on, you can't deny. Like, you can't be mad at the loyalty. Um,
Yes, you
there's
can.
also, well, you can't be mad at the loyalty. Like, with it, and it's like anyone else would think. If you haven't wronged me, then I can't necessarily, and maybe I shouldn't necessarily say anything bad about you. Maybe I should be quiet. Maybe I should choose my words better. But what can he really say bad about Diddy if he hasn't experienced it? So I'm there with him. There was also a time where we looked at Sean Diddy Combs and Bad Boy as a mogul that stretched out to clothing, that stretched out to liquor. I mean, Bad Boy stretched out beyond anybody's wildest imagination. So at that time, what he's saying that Diddy showed what black people can do, he did. A lot of these allegations we had during that time, a lot of them are now coming out and we're starting to actually believe them. But what Usher is saying is something that a lot of us believed during that Bad Boy era. So you may not like him, but he's not really saying anything incorrect other than Diddy is being misrepresented. He's not being misrepresented. Things are starting to come out now. I'm not too mad at Usher for saying that, I, because two things can be true. That's how I look at it.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Two things. Okay, Calvin. Two things can be true, but should you say that in this current climate, knowing now what we know, the true picture of Diddy? Shit, I understand being loyal to your man's. Your man's put you on. He was there for you. He kind of helped you vault into the industry. Okay, I'm cool with that. That's my man's. I'm a rock with him. But my man's behavior does not, I mean, what he did for me, or his influence on me, or on culture, does not outweigh his other behavior. To me, that's heinous.
Well,
That's
yeah.
something that can't be excused because he helped set the role for black entrepreneurs. I mean, what about Barry Gordy? We hear Barry Gordy out here beating up Diana Ross in the hotel, kicking her around on the Supremes. He
Well,
set the culture for people
well,
like
we
Diddy and stuff. You had other people before him that have set trend and set culture and create space for black entrepreneurs.
hmm
Diddy's not the only one. I understand he did it for his age group, for his generation.
hmm
Yes, Diddy was that. But to me, I don't think, to say, well, yeah, that's my man. And, despite these other things, he made all these contributions. it's almost like the conversation I had in the barbershop. I told you about somebody saying something was positive about Hitler. Hitler was a great art student.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Or Hitler had a great solution for people.
But
Yeah,
but again, that's what I'm saying. So him saying that Diddy was misrepresented is an incorrect statement. That's where he could lose me. But let's talk about Barry Gordy, because Barry Gordy is not without sin. We've heard that Barry Gordy has cheated some Motown artists. I mean, when you're talking
yeah,
about
they
the
all got
entertainment,
cheated. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
so when
Mhm.
we're talking about the entertainment industry, it's going to happen. I think what Usher is trying to say was he was good to me, so I'm loyal to him, and he did do some things that even surpassed the Barry Gordy. There wasn't
Mhm.
Motown gear out. There wasn't Motown. You know what I mean? Like it's just I get what he's saying. I don't rock with the misrepresentation. You know what I mean? Because that's not true.
Mhm.
He's in the light that he should be in now. But I understand the loyalty,
Mhm.
and
I
and
feel you.
you know I
I
can't
guess.
deny that.
I guess for me, and they're not allegations. They've been proven,
Right.
but the sexual abuse and the mistreatment of people far outweighs his impact as an entrepreneur.
I get
To
that.
me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to me,
I,
and to just say, "Hey, I," to me, it's like what Usher said is, "I'm gonna ignore all this other stuff. I'm just gonna focus on what he did in the impact for the industry." And to
well,
me, that's being short sighted. The man obviously had more sides than you're willing to acknowledge.
yeah,
He
but he's exactly saying what you're saying, but he's not saying I'm going to ignore it because I think he did great for the world. He's saying I don't necessarily want to acknowledge it because he did great for me. We don't have any loyalty to Diddy. You and I,
Mhm.
we have no loyalty to Diddy. So
Sure.
everything he's done, fuck him. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
It's fuck him. It's just like the people that are still rocking for R. Kelly, people that have done things that he's done things for. To us, fuck him. And he's done a lot for music, but it's when we and let me try to bring it home to us. We all have friends that have done some things that have been outside of the realm of what we would do, whether it was
Sure.
selling drugs, whether it was
Sure.
stealing, anything. But we rock with them because they've been loyal to us. We don't necessarily condone what they did,
Sure.
but we're also not out here making statements like, oh, besides that, they're a great person. We may personally feel that, but we also know that what you've done is a reflection of possibly who you are and how other people think about you. And people aren't as forgiving. So we're not going to necessarily put ourselves out there just like Usher just did and say, he's being misrepresented. He's not being misrepresented, Usher. He
Mhm.
was good to you and you're loyal to him. And we understand that, but don't make that broad statement. That's where I'm at with it. Like I understand what he's saying, but I think that misrepresentation thing just threw me off. Like,
Yeah.
he's not being
Yeah.
misrepresented.
It's not being represented. All right, man. That's all we got in the tank today. I don't have a come on yo. I don't know if you do.
I do have a come on, yo.
Let's do
And
it.
every year around this time, I'm going to bring up this come on, yo, because it needs to be brought up.
Oh goodness.
Come on, Garland. I don't know how you believe in Easter when Damar Hamlin died on the field and you do not think he deserved comeback player of the year. Every year
Here.
we going to
Are
have
you
this
comparing
discussion.
him to God's son?
Absolutely not. But the definition of comeback is a nigga that died and came back to life on the football field. So
That's all. That's all he did, Calvin. His
how
play
can
was
you
horrible. He was
That's all he.
horrible.
It's not called best play comeback of the year. It's called comeback of the year.
No.
He died on the field
So if
and
you
he
if you
came back
die
to play.
if you die on the field and you come back, you should automatically get comeback player of the year. Don't make a
Hell
difference what you did.
yes. Hell yes. Hell yes. That is the literal definition of I gave
Yo,
this game everything. He gave the game everything. You
No,
know how
he
niggas be
he
like,
didn't see that
you
blindside hit,
you
and that
you know how
blindside
niggas
hit gave
say
him everything.
these athletes will say all the time, I've dedicated my life to this game. Nigga, no, you didn't. DeMar Hamlin did, though. He died on the field. And Garland thinks that Joe Flacco, because he threw a few touchdowns, deserved
Mm-hmm.
comeback player of the year more
He
than
did.
DeMar Hamlin. Come
He
on,
did.
Garland. Come on,
I mean,
yo.
come on, Joe Flacco. He's still playing today because of that year.
DeMar Hamlin's still playing today because he lived, because he rose and lived. He just signed an extension. He wouldn't have signed that extension had he not come back to life.
I
Had he
think.
not
I'm
come
sorry.
back to life.
I I didn't even know who DeMar Hamlin was until that happened.
And now you know. You know why? You know why you know now? Because he came back to life.
I do remember King Henry running past him in that game in Baltimore when they gave him on that first carry. DeMar was chasing him. He ain't come back with no speed.
He, but you know what he came back with? A
What?
heartbeat and a pulse. He died
Well,
on the field.
he must have left his speed in
Bro,
heaven or wherever he was in paradise.
bro. He
That's where he left his
not
speed.
only did he die on the field, but they shut the rest of the game down. They didn't
They
even
did. They stopped the
they
game.
were short a game. Both teams were short a game because DeMar Hamlin died on the field. And he came back and played the
He,
next year, yo.
he did not die. He just had a heart attack. He did not die.
Bro, they had to, are you saying they had to
They
resuscitate
said
him
he was
on the
yeah,
field?
he was resuscitated, but he didn't leave.
What?
Hey, guess what?
If
He
you
wanted to get out of
resuscitated,
Cincinnati. I understand.
he was
He
playing for
ain't nothing.
Buffalo.
Ain't
If
nothing.
you
They were playing Cincinnati. Ain't nothing happening in
if
Cincinnati. He wanted to get out of there early.
if you were resuscitated, that means that you suscitated on the field. DeMar Hamlin suscitated. And he had to be resuscitated.
He was unsuscitated, and they had to resuscitate him.
Yo. So come on, Garland. Stop slighting that man, Joe
He did,
Flacco, because he threw a
he
few
didn't deserve
touchdowns.
it. Joe Flacco had an outstanding
What?
year. He took Cleveland to the playoffs.
DeMar Hamlin brought Jesus to the game because
If
he was
DeMar,
resuscitated.
if he really now, if he would have came back and he would have played in the playoffs that year, then yes, give it to him. He did. If he would have came back and
So,
played, then yes. But no, just
so,
because he came back, don't mean he should have got it.
so normal life just don't matter. Just
I
normal,
mean, he
just
came back
normal
with
life.
life, but he didn't. He didn't return to the field.
I
He should have returned. If he returns to the field, then yeah, I agree with you. He
no,
should
no,
have
no,
got
no,
it. But
no,
I mean,
no.
he just came back.
You can't return to the field that same year and get comeback player of the year.
No,
He
that would have
returned
made
the
him
next
special.
season. He returned the next
Well,
season
he should have
and
got it the
played the
next
entire
season then.
season. He should have got it the next season, but Joe Flacco won it.
Well,
That's what we're
he should have
saying.
got it. He should, if he would have returned back to the field immediately, then that day or the next game, then he deserved it. But no, just because he came back the next year, no, I'm sorry, Joe Flacco had too good of a year for him to get that. He just came back. He was just around. It wasn't like he was making an impact. They brought him back like, hey, just stand on the sideline. I don't even think he played half that season. Let me look up the stats. I don't think he played. He might have played 2 games, Calvin.
That's 2 games that he wouldn't have played if he hadn't have been resuscitated.
He
If
might
he had stayed in suscitation, he wouldn't have played them games.
resuscitation. You killing me with this tag resuscitation. All right. All right. So he got hurt. I think this was 2023. Okay, yeah. 20. Yeah, no. He got hurt in 2022. 2023 was the next year where he was player of the thingy. Let me see. I'm looking at this right. Yeah, yeah. All right. Let me see what he got. He did get an award in 2023. What did he get in 2023? Oh, he got some voting for Defense. I'm looking at comeback. Okay, so he came in second for comeback player of the year that year. All right, so it's 2023, right? All right, and so Calvin, he only played 5 games that year.
So he he didn't have to play.
What? You acting like he played 20 games,
bro. I'm
he
acting
played.
like
He played 5
I'm
games.
acting like he came back to life to play at least one snap. He played.
And then the next year, he plays 14 games the next year, and he came in 4th place for comeback player of the year. To me, that was more legit. He should have won that year. And Calvin, the year that he went out, that he was hurt.
To be honest, he should win every year. If you want to say it like that.
All right. He's been in competition for 3 straight years. All right, the year that he had the heart attack on the field, 2022, he came in 12th place. All right, you can see what the voters thought of him. He came in 12th place for the comeback player of the year.
He didn't play that.
Okay, so the next year he only plays 5 games. That next year he was in second. You could tell that was the sympathy vote. He was in second. He only played 5 games. He didn't make no tackles. He made 2 tackles that year. And then the next year he played 14 games. And he came in 4th.
You know what? He may have. How many tackles did he make the year that he actually came back?
2.
He actually made 3 tackles because he tackled death. He came back. I don't understand. I don't understand how you not getting this,
bro. It's so crazy. He had 21 first place votes that year, but I guess Flacco had more total votes. That's why Flacco won the award. Because Flacco, I mean, he didn't have necessarily a great year. He had 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in that season. He played. How did play? How many games? Let's look it up. Flacco.
What did he play? 8.
He played 9. He played. No, I'm looking right now. I'm sorry. That year, Cleveland. Yeah, he played 4 games.
Flacco played 4 games.
Oh no, I'm looking at 2025. Let me go back. I'm sorry. He played 5. He was 4-1. He started 5 games that year.
I'm gonna let that sit with you. He played 5. DeMar Hamlin played 5. I'm gonna let that sit with you. I'm gonna go ahead and let that sit.
But DeMar Hamlin only had 2 tackles.
He had 3 tackles. And he had one of the biggest tackles ever made in the history of the game.
He only had 2 tackles. I mean, at least Flacco had over 1,600 yards and 13 touchdowns.
This is just not sitting.
Yep.
Right with me.
They both Flacco started for 5 games. They both played in 5 games. Flacco started the 5 games that he played in.
Yeah.
Hey, it should have went to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield started 17 games.
Listen,
and he took his team to the playoffs, and he threw for over 4,000 yards that year.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the vote for Baker Mayfield because his ass was dead in Carolina, and he came back from death to play for the Bucs and have a great year.
It should have went to Lamar. Lamar had over 3,600 yards passing that year. He just came back from an injury. He came back. He didn't finish the season before that. He just came back from an injury.
He win MVP.
He wanted to win an MVP that year.
So he only comeback player and MVP.
Oh God. Anyway,
if March's Funeral Home ever sponsors an award, I bet DeMar Hamlin will be first in line to get.
Wally gonna beat it to it. I'm a Wally Funeral Home. Wally is one of my fellow deacons. No, it gotta be Wally. Go be at the Mount Street locations. Go be in the hood.
The embalmation award for suscitation.
Man,
anyway, man, another great show. We ran off on a tangent with that one, but everybody agrees with me. I'm right. Garland is wrong, but we are live on YouTube right now. We're on all the podcasts.
5 games, 2 tackles.
And if you have Spotify, you will get to see us argue at this point every year around Easter time. Let me go ahead and play this outro. You know what? As a matter of fact, from my understanding, This is what Lamar Hamlin was hearing when he was laid out on the ground dying.
He heard,
You have been
heard our
listening
theme
to
song.
the B.I.G. Show.
He heard
The
the
show was
outro.
produced and written
He-
by Calvin
they was
Coates
playing-
and
they was
Garland
playing the
Thomas for All Things
saxophones
Black
on his ass.
Productions.
Nigga
Follow
was
us on all of
dying.
your podcast media
He got one more
platforms.
year to come back.
Yo, you so wrong. Later, Garland.
Peace.